Hello there, you're tuning into another edition of VTV News. In the following, we'll take a look at the headlines for this hour. The Vung Ang Economic Zone resumes operation. And later on, overseas Vietnamese and foreigners can now purchase houses here in Vietnam. We'll now begin with the top news in the bulletin. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tân Dũng recently affirmed that Vietnam would not barter sovereignty for unrealizable friendship. Now, the Prime Minister made this statement at the 2014 World Economic Forum on East Asia, also known as WEF East Asia. This was made on Thursday. Now, discussing recent developments in the EC, he added that Vietnam has exercised restraint and would not initiate the use of force unless it was compelled to. The Prime Minister's speech was hailed by members of the 13th National Assembly attending the ongoing 7th session here in the country.
National Assembly members showed support for Prime Minister Dũng statement, which stays true to Vietnam's firm stance regarding its national independence, self-reliance, and sovereignty.
The Prime Minister's speech at the World Economic Forum East Asia has truly shown Vietnam's policy as a peace-loving country. In our constitution and law on the sea, it is clearly stated that Vietnam always tackles international disputes with peaceful measures. However, our sovereignty is sacred and not to be violated by any other parties. We love peace and we've exercised restraint. And yet, even our restraint has its limits. Given the recent East Sea tensions, it is important that not only Vietnam and China, but also other countries in the ASEAN community find peaceful solutions and respect international laws.
Apart from saluting Prime Minister's speech at the 2014 WEF East Asia, National Assembly members also urged Vietnamese citizens to express their patriotism in a peaceful manner.
I think that not only National Assembly members, but all Vietnamese agree with Prime Minister Dũng statements. For thousands of years now, when faced with threat of invasion, the Vietnamese people have prioritized peaceful measures. However, if invaders cross the line, we won't hesitate to defend our sovereignty.
National Assembly members also stressed the need for additional legal and historical evidence to prove Vietnam's sovereignty over the Paracel and Spratly archipelagos. They added that this should be bolstered by asking other countries and international friends to join hands in supporting Vietnam as it protects its sovereignty.
Updates now on the Vung Ang Economic Zone following the recent disruptive incidents reveal that so far over 5,000 workers have returned to work in their factories. The Formosa project has also returned to its normal production activities. Local authorities have aided the resumption of commercial operation by creating optimum conditions and supporting mechanisms for the economic zone.
Currently, there are 50 companies from different nations, including China, the Republic of Korea, Belgium, and Vietnam, operating as a Formosa project in the Vung Ang Economic Zone. After several days of Võ Hoài Nam, a worker at the project, is now returning to work along with many of his colleagues.
We feel reassured getting back to work. Now we understand the problems and will encourage each other not to follow bad examples. The company has done its best to assist me in getting back to work. I'll also explain to my colleagues that things are okay now so they could come back.
According to the Board of Management at the Formosa project, the number of laborers coming back to work continued to rise ever since the government committed to tightening security and safety at the project and throughout the region. In another stabilizing factor for the area, tax and insurance policies has been adjusted to maintain regional stability and security.
Local authorities are serious about maintaining security for production, investment, and upholding the workers' living standards, especially the Chinese workers. We have called for locals and national budgets to compensate for the losses of companies affected by the recent incident.
Together with the authorities' efforts, enterprises are also drafting solutions to handle the problems and resume normal activities.
We have developed several solutions, focusing on encouragement. We have to let them know what is allowed by law and what is not, so that the workers will have faith in a full recovery. Public communication has been enhanced to raise awareness of the workers.
The Formosa project is rushing to complete several of its important construction projects. With the collaborations of the government and the enterprise community, production activities are expected to make a full recovery in the near future.
Authorities in Bình Dương, Southern Province, held a meeting on Friday with their subordinates at relevant organizations, as well as representatives from insurance companies in the area to listen to the damage reports of the recent incidents which affected enterprises. According to the organization's reports, so far most of the affected enterprises have resumed operation. The statistics on the damage to the enterprises up to now have also been completed. The insurance companies also reported that they have surveyed the damage to 73 enterprises which signed contracts with them. Regarding their duties, the Departments of Customs and Tax have also promptly assisted the enterprises in terms of procedures so that they can resume production. At the meeting, Bình Dương authorities once again confirmed their strong support of the affected enterprises and said they would resolve the situation as soon as possible. The People's Committee of Quảng Ninh Northern Province held a meeting on Friday with foreign direct investment or FDI enterprises in the area to discuss production and business in the coming time. Now, according to a report from the Provincial Department of Investment and Planning, there are currently 97 FDI projects operating in the province, with a total registered capital of $4.8 billion. At the meeting, representatives from the FDI enterprises praised the efforts of Quảng Ninh Province to improve the investment environment, particularly for the security for enterprises. The provincial authorities said that they would further improve their investment policies as well as infrastructure in the area in order to best serve the FDI investors.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
You're back here on VTV News. After 2 consecutive months of declining consumer price index, or CPI, Ho Chi Minh City has witnessed a slight rise of 0.36% for this figure in May. Now, experts say that this increase in CPI reflects authorities' positive practices in macroeconomic management, especially in curbing inflation.
Statistics show that the CPI rise of 0.36% in Ho Chi Minh City is attributable to price increases in 7 commodity baskets, 2 baskets with prices remaining unchanged and another 2 with reduced prices. Food costs and restaurant services recorded the biggest month-on-month increase at 0.721%. Experts believe the adjustment in oil and gas prices in April also partially resulted in this CPI hike.
This shows a positive sign for economic recovery, and it has yet to establish itself as a clear trend.
A rise in CPI, though not yet stable, does indicate positive changes. This shows that the government's efforts to stabilize the macroeconomy, curb inflation, and restructure the economy as a whole are creating the conditions necessary for growth. Together with CPI, other indices and rates, including GDP, FDI, and credit growth, are also rising.
We've had better mechanisms to access businesses. Using these, we have identified consistently low-performing businesses and urged them to change their operation models or strategies.
Price-stabilized goods have also played a significant role in this month's CPI rise. According to Ho Chi Minh City's Department of Industry and Trade, The supply of price-stabilized goods in May rose by 25% compared to the forecasted plan.
Enterprises in Ho Chi Minh City have adequately supplied price-stabilized goods to supermarkets. These goods were offered at relatively low prices, thus helping to stabilize prices.
Experts forecast CPI will continue to rise in the next 6 months following the government's flexible macroeconomy management measures, especially favorable tax policies and other incentives.
Overseas Vietnamese and foreigners can now purchase houses in Vietnam, according to the currently discussed amended law on construction by the National Assembly. We have more details on this in the following report.
The amended law on constructions will allow overseas Vietnamese and foreigners to own houses in Vietnam for over 50 years with several limitations.
In any residential area or apartment complex, there will be a 30% limit on the number of houses owned by overseas Vietnamese and foreigners to keep a balanced and harmonious living community.
For overseas Vietnamese currently living abroad, there will be no limitations on the number of houses owned by each individual. However, at present, many overseas Vietnamese seem to be concerned over the policy procedures in Vietnam.
I hope there will be stricter amendments to ensure the rights of overseas Vietnamese in case of ownership conflicts, just as the case in countries where we are currently living. Here, house owners are fairly protected.
Currently, there are more than 300,000 foreigners living in Vietnam and about 5 million overseas Vietnamese. If the amended law is approved, the domestic real estate market will be bustling with new flows of foreign investment, which is expected to raise the total trade value of the market up to 10 to 15%. However, some experts are concerned that competitions with foreign investors will limit the chances of Vietnamese people becoming house owners.
We are concerned about the market competition as foreign investors will be more financially competent than domestic investors. However, we will work to develop strategies to strengthen our competitiveness.
The National Assembly is continuing discussions on details of the amended law before its final approval.
Construction of a 500-square-meter primary school began on Friday in Thanh Commune in Hương Hóa District in the central province of Quảng Trị. Now, this school, which is expected to solve a classroom shortage in the locality, is being built at a cost of $135,000. Of this amount, $107,000 is coming from the UK's Prudential Group, while the rest is being drawn from the local budget and plan, a non-governmental organization specializing in eradicating poverty and helping children realize their rights. The facility will include 5 classrooms capable of welcoming 95 local children. The mountainous Thanh Commune has 636 households with a poverty rate of 44%. Wrapping up your news bulletin now is your updated weather forecast. And thank you for tuning in to this edition of VTV News, and goodbye for now.